Confusion, anger and mystery still surrounding the departure of Prophet Bushiri to Malawi. South African authorities can't explain how the self-proclaimed prophet escaped the country. Shepherd Bushiri, as is known by his followers, says he's not running away from his trial. He's merely in Malawi to seek intervention from his home country. For more now on this developing story is eNCA's Tshego Moagi, who joins us live from our newsroom here in Johannesburg. Tshego, thank you so much for joining us. Lots of moving parts to the story since news broke that Bushiri is indeed in Malawi and not in South Africa as per his bail conditions. What have we heard from the self-proclaimed prophet so far, especially in terms of comments that he's made about how he's been fearing for his life, something that hadn't been heard in the various court appearances he's made over the last while?
Well, absolutely, Marcel. So he spoke on his channel, the prophetic channel, last night, and he really spoke about how he's fearing for his life, that there are police officers that are threatening him, and he says that they are torturing his life. He's also mentioned during this particular address last night that he says that there's a black man facing trial in South Africa, and there are 5 white police officers who he says have abused their power. He's also said that he's laid charges, actually, against these particular police officers, and he says that nothing has been done. So these are just some of the words that he mentioned, saying that he is not evading trial. He says that he is in Malawi for his own safety, and he sent his children back to Malawi for safety reasons. He's also said that he believes in South Africa's justice system, but is requesting that the Malawian government actually assists and ensures that he will have a fair trial in South Africa. And he's also said that if he had wanted to not face trial and not be in South Africa for his trial, then he would not have announced that he has left for Malawi. And the interesting part is that he says he doesn't want to die while he still has to clear his name in this particular fraud, theft and money laundering case that is now against him.
What do we know about the timeline about Bushiri and his wife over the last 2 weeks? He was granted bail in the latest case involving fraud, money laundering and theft just 2 weeks ago, 2 Wednesdays ago, as it were. But we now understand that just this past Wednesday, he landed in Malawi. And is there any connection between his movements and that of the Malawian president, who also found himself here in South Africa over the past few days?
Well, as you've mentioned, Marcel, he says that he landed in Malawi on Wednesday evening. We understand that the president landed in Malawi on Friday, so he was back in Malawi on Friday or early Saturday morning. And we are then told by the information minister that there is no connection at all. I mean, Bushiri also mentioning that he has not had time to speak to the Malawian government because when he arrived, the president had left already for South Africa. So the information minister also saying that there is no connection, that there is no way that the president would smuggle Bushiri back into the country, back into Malawi. So that is what we know at the moment. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered really around how did it actually take place that he was able to leave the country, to leave South Africa when he was told not to leave the borders of the country, and how did he get into Malawi? And that is the kind of things, those are the questions that we will definitely be continuing to find answers to here at eNCA. But when I did just a few minutes ago speak to the Hawk spokesperson, Colonel Tshego Moagi, she mentioned that they are still investigating how this happened. But you would remember, Marcel, that if he was then told to actually go to the nearest police station to him Monday and Friday between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and that we can then assume that that did not happen if he landed in Malawi on Wednesday evening, then did not happen on Wednesday that he did not go to the police station. So we are being told that there's no coincidence that the Malawian president was in South Africa and suddenly then Bushiri is back in his home country, and that the Malawian president would not have smuggled him out of the country at all.
What are we hearing from the spokespeople of Bushiri's church? And are we hearing anything from the South African government? Because that kind of movement across borders, especially during a time of various kinds of lockdown and our borders being controlled in a certain way, it's very difficult that nobody in a position of power would know about somebody this well-known who'd be skipping the country.
Well, Marcel, I just want to first of all mention that even during his bail application, the NPA did say that he is a flight risk, and then the defense came through saying that even though they say that he's a flight risk, he will not evade his trial and he will not leave the country. However, the NPA then coming back to say that even if somebody wants to leave the country, they will find a way to leave the country. And this is now what we have seen with Prophet Bushiri and his wife Mary going back to Malawi. But I did schedule an interview with Ephraim Nyondo. It was supposed to take place at about 10:15 today, but he has then told me that they will not be doing any more interviews because what was said by the Prophet Prophet Bushiri is what will then is the final straw, and that's the end of it for them. So no more interviews from their side. And I have been trying to get a hold of the presidency just to understand how the president is feeling about this particular situation. I mean, he did host the Malawian president not so long ago. So I've been trying to also get hold of Tyrone Seal from the presidency. And as soon as we've got that word, then I'll definitely I'll let you know.
Thank you so much, Tshego Moagi. Keeping us updated on a story has really gotten tongues wagging.